Animals and humans have coexisted since the beginning of time, but you'll be surprised to know how far this coexistence really goes. No human is ever 100% human. Our bodies are actually made up of tons of bacterial and even parasitic creatures that we never even realize are there. The diverse environment of the human body makes it the perfect place for other organisms to find shelter as you go about your everyday life, not even knowing what's living inside you. From a 4-feet snake crawling into a woman's mouth in her sleep, to a parasite making its home inside a human's eye, and a huge number of maggots infesting a woman's mouth. In this video, we're taking a look at 10 animals found living inside humans. The human eye worm. The human eye is a fascinating organ. Our eyes are exposed directly to the environment. This means that they are essentially the most vulnerable to a number of infectious diseases carried by parasites. While the human eye does come with its own set of defense mechanisms, these anatomical barriers can be breached very easily. Sometimes fungal infections of the eye are caused by the eye coming in contact with infected objects, but most parasitic infections of the eye are caused by the bloodborne carriage of certain microorganisms straight to the eye. Here, the presence of a parasite in this person's eye has gone unnoticed for a long time simply because the host never even felt it. But you can clearly see the tweezers pulling out a considerably long worm right from inside the eye, making the whole thing look like something straight out of a nightmare. Spider lives inside man's ear. A huge number of spider species prefer to live in a moist, damp environment where they can easily lay their eggs. But a spider making itself comfortable inside a human man's ear is something that's never been heard of until now. This man in China went to the hospital after experiencing a weird tingling sensation in his ear which he thought was irritation or an allergic reaction to something. With their naked eye, the doctors couldn't see anything. But upon an ENT examination with a microscope, it was discovered that a spider had somehow made its way inside the person's ear and was now living right inside his ear canal. After trying and failing to pull the insect out with tweezers, the doctors ended up flushing it out by flooding the man's ears with eardrops. Thankfully, the creature didn't leave any webs or eggs behind. Otherwise, who knows what could have happened. Live fish stuck inside boy's nostril. When you're in the water, small-sized fishes can easily swim up your ears and nostrils, and when they can't manage to find a way out, they decide to make their home in the damp environment of the human body. When this young boy jumped into the water well near his house, he had no idea that a small fish had swum right up inside his left nostril. A few hours later, he felt some kind of a blockage when he tried to breathe. So, when the boy went to a doctor who discovered that the blockage was actually being caused by the presence of the fish, what's worse is that the fish was actually alive and resisting when the doctor tried to pull it out. The removal procedure took around 30 minutes and a lot of pain before the fish was finally removed from the boy's nostril, allowing him to breathe yet again. Maggots live inside a woman's mouth. Maggots typically don't choose live hosts because they like to feed on the dead and decaying matter, whether it's humans, animals, or plants. So it was a surprise when a dentist in India found maggots swarming a woman's mouth, wriggling around causing the woman extreme discomfort. The reason why these little insects had managed to grow and live inside the woman's mouth was because of her lack of dental hygiene, which had led to a condition called oromyiasis, where the tissues in her mouth are invaded by parasites and the gums start decaying. Throughout the removal process, the woman is sedated, but you can see just how deep the parasites have invaded her mouth. Live leech inside human body. Leeches are known to have some of the biggest appetites in the animal kingdom. Despite their small size, these creatures can easily ingest an amount of blood 5 times their own weight. Leeches often tend to stick to human bodies externally where they suck their blood. But this leech has somehow managed to enter a person's lungs, obstructing their respiratory tract. This can not only lead to a difficulty in breathing but also severe diseases such as pneumonia and meningitis if the parasite is allowed to invade the host for longer. But that's not all, because this person is also hosting ringworm inside its already infected body, putting them further at the risk of developing respiratory infections. In this case, the doctors are trying to push both the creatures towards the person's mouth so they can go in and extract these foreign parasites before things take a turn for the worse. 4-feet snake pulled out from woman's mouth. While snakes are considered to be delicacies in some parts of the world, this ingestion was definitely not voluntary. While snakes are usually the reptiles that can just swallow just about anything, this snake decided to reverse roles, and as a woman was sleeping, the reptile slowly crawled into her mouth, going down her entire stomach. When the woman woke up, she obviously felt like something was blocking most of her body parts, interrupting her breathing and functioning. When she went to the doctor, they managed to actually pull out a 4-foot snake that made the woman's body its home. Cockroach crawls inside man's ear. Cockroaches are considered to be some of the strongest creatures on Earth that are almost entirely invincible. Roaches can survive nuclear bombings, several stompings, and forces that are 900 times stronger than their bodies because they are born with natural healing abilities. But this cockroach took things up a notch and decided to make itself comfortable right inside a man's ear. The man never even realized that he was housing an insect in his ear canal before he started to experience an unbelievable amount of pain, upon which he went to see a doctor who then examined him and discovered that a tiny cockroach is stuck in his ear canal and that it's the source of all of his pain. Ants build colony inside young girl. Ants are social insects, which means they like to live in large groups with every member having their own role: the queen, the workers, and the males. Now, usually these ant colonies are formed on the ground with sand and rock playing as a huge part in their construction. But this family of ants decided to pick an unconventional location to work and procreate: the inside of a little girl's ear. Shreya Darji from Disa, Gujarat, noticed that every day ants would keep coming out of her ears. When she went to the doctor, it was discovered that the 12-year-old girl was housing a giant ant's nest in her ear canal without even knowing it. While the ants did bite Shreya, she never experienced any pain, and even her CT scans are completely normal. Doctors have tried everything, even as going as far as to suffocate the ants to help rid Shreya of this problem. But nothing seems to work, and the colony always manages to survive. Botfly maggots stay inside women's arms after biting. Botfly maggots are parasites that enter the host's skin by biting them and using the wound to make their way into the subcutaneous tissue, which is where they make their home. That's exactly what these maggots have done after biting this woman. The doctors are seen puncturing her bite wounds and then reaching in with tweezers to pull the large parasites out before they do any damage. Beetle causes severe right ear pain. It's actually extremely common for bugs to travel inside human ears and stay there until they are detected. Now, beetles are insects that can deliver a nasty bite with their well-developed jaws and mandibles. Beetle bites are definitely painful, so you can only imagine what might happen when this insect manages to crawl inside a person's ear, where it manages to stay alive and go undetected for days. The human host had actually gone through a cochlear implant days before the insect invaded their body, which is why they originally thought the pain was from the procedure. By the time the doctors discovered the insect, it had died and could easily be removed from the patient's ear canal. Alright, comment down below what you want to see next. Remember to give this video a thumbs up and subscribe to Wildly for more. See you in the next one!